Summer Olympics may have wrapped up a few weeks ago in Rio, but now the best disabled athletes from around the world have converged in Brazil for the Paralympic Games. And one local athlete is there representing Northern Nevada. News 4's Alex Margulies joins us now with his incredible journey. Alex.
Hey, Shelby. Well, competition started today for a hand cycling event at the Paralympic Games, and that's where we find Reno's Will Lachenauer, who after years of hard work and dedication will finally see his dream come true. Over the past couple of years, if you've come across a hand cycle scorching across the streets of Northwest Reno, there's a good chance it was Will Lachenauer.
My kids tease me, they tell me I ride a tricycle. They're on big kid bikes, but Dad rides a tricycle. When I first was injured, this just felt like cycling. Same training, same tactics, and super fast. And you know, if somebody's not practicing and in shape, I can just go ride with able-bodied riders. You know, it's fun.
Ever since a motocross accident confined him to a wheelchair almost a decade ago, Will has been determined to prove that he can still compete with the best of the best.
It's been a long, indirect path to finally get to a Paralympics and be able to, you know, race for my country and accomplish the goal I set back in 2010.
And he shouldn't have had to wait this long. He was actually good enough to qualify for the London Games in 2012 after winning a time trial. But to his surprise, he wasn't picked for the team.
Everything I had been told up to that point is like, win the time trial and you're going. And they come to my class, or you know, my injury classification and naming the athlete, and like, we're gonna wait. And everyone's kind of sitting there going, oh, that's not good. At least I was.
Yeah.
So it was hard. It was relatively soon after being injured. So I think you know, your skin's a little thin. It hurt, and my wife was a lot of time was taken away from the kids and away from the family, and that was a sacrifice we all made.
But the disappointment felt that day would pale into comparison to the day of Will's motocross accident back in 2008.
Still sticks in my head very clearly. Beautiful Saturday morning, blue skies like we get here, and I was heading off. He was already gone. He left about 6 in the morning to go to a race.
I was at Honey Lake, and just there's a section of the track in the back that was like a tabletop, and then kind of a sharp dip, and then a small table after it into kind of a hairpin turn. And I hit the face of the second one, and it just like put me into orbit. I'm like, oh, there goes the landing, and there's the corner, and there's where I'm going to land. I literally went head first at like 40 miles an hour into a pile of granite, and I'm lucky to be alive. And I kept trying to get up, and I thought the bike was on me because I couldn't get off the ground.
And you felt pinned.
Yeah, I felt like something was holding me down as I was trying to push up, and then I kind of looked back and I could see that my legs weren't pointing the way my mind's eye pictured it, and like I knew right then I had a spinal cord injury. I was like, oh my God, I have a little girl. I mean, I think it's the first time in my life I've actually felt panic. Like I just knew at that moment, I'm in big trouble.
Will would be evacuated by care flight to Reno Hospital, where they received the devastating news.
The doctor came out right away, showed us the x-rays, showed me the x-rays. Pretty much said he'd never seen anyone walk after that type of x-rays. They were just vertebrae separated. So yeah, it was a life-changing moment. You imagine the worst, and you can't imagine how you're going to go on. And I was pregnant, I had a little toddler, so I think both of us had a lot of fear and just didn't know how we would get through it.
It's not my best Saturday. You know, the next morning, or next day, I guess, you know, you're laying in bed and just like, oh my gosh, what'd I do to my family? You know, and like, it's like, you know, that's how I pay the bills. It's my wife's pregnant. She's taking time off from work. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, I was like, what did I do? And that was tough.
Will spent the next month at Craig Hospital in Colorado, a rehab facility that specializes in spinal cord injuries.
You know, I must have relived 35,000 times the different things I could have done that morning not to be in the chair. And at like 35,523, I didn't have the bandwidth left to do it 35,524 times. And I had to kind of let that part of it go and stop blaming myself for what happened.
Just thankful he's here, regardless of how he's here and what his mobility is, he's here. And you know, it could have been worse. It could have been a neck injury, a brain injury, and thankfully it's a back injury. Life goes on, it gets better.
What do you think helped pull you out of this the most?
The bike was help. You know, the bike was an outlet, but the necessity of taking care of my kids. See ya. See ya. Have fun at school. See you, girls. I'll see you this afternoon.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Will you work on homework?
Yeah, we'll do some homework stuff. Definitely, Uma.
Shortly after his return home, Will went back to work and found a new outlet for his competitive nature, thanks to a friend named John Kirsch, who brought him his first hand cycle.
I think if you talk to any para-athlete, they like that you're seen as an athlete. The chair kind of fades away a little bit when you're in the bike or when you're competing. It's a connection to a part of my life that's so important, and it was important before the injury, and it needs to be important afterwards.
He gets out there and I think he forgets, you know, that once he gets out of that bicycle, he's back in a wheelchair. It's just competing against other athletes and that competition and freeness it brings.
Lachenauer has been training around the clock, at least 15 hours a week on the road and countless more in the gym, just for a shot at becoming a champion. What would it mean to you to be in Rio atop a podium with a medal around your neck?
It'd mean a lot from when the family sacrificed and put into this. It would mean a lot being a little bit older athlete. You know, it's always fun to beat the kids. And it's the goal I set, and I'm expecting it. You know, and that's the cool thing about racing, like I said. I mean, everybody expects to, well, not everybody expects to win, but there's a good number of guys that expect to win that day. And we're gonna have a race and find out who's right.
Pretty remarkable. Will opened his Paralympic journey with his first of 3 races this morning in Rio. And his disappointment, he did come in 5th in the H3, that's his injury class, time trial. Good news for Will, though. He's got 2 more shots at a medal. Thursday, he'll compete in a roughly 60-kilometer H3 class road race on Friday. He'll compete in a mix of injury classes relay race. Unfortunately, none of the events will be televised, but we will certainly keep you posted on his progress at mynews4.com. Back to you, Shel.